Hey everyone, so it's 2025 and this is iPhone 13 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro. The iPhone 16 is out of course, and you might be thinking, why are we talking about these two? Well, honestly, because for a lot of people, one of these phones is probably a much smarter purchase than anything brand new. Maybe you're using a 13 Pro right now, your battery is starting to feel a bit tired and you're wondering if it's finally time to upgrade. Or maybe you're looking to get a Pro iPhone without that Pro price tag and you're stuck between the incredible value of the 13 Pro and the more modern but pricier 15 Pro. And that's the big question we're tackling today. With a few years behind them, how do these two actually stack up in the ways that matter? Not just spec sheets, but real world feel, performance, and those key features that might make or break your decision. So in this video, we're going to break down what you should actually care about. We'll cover the design and how they feel in the hand, the displays, and that notch versus the dynamic island, real world performance, and the huge topic of AI, the surprisingly complex camera differences, and of course the big ones, battery life and the switch to USB-C. And stick around, because at the end I'll tell you which one I would personally spend my own money on in 2025. Alright, let's get right into it. And first let's talk about something you can't see on a spec sheet, how these phones actually feel. The iPhone 13 Pro, it's a modern classic. When you pick it up, it feels dense, substantial. Those polished stainless steel sides look incredibly premium, but let's be honest, they are absolute fingerprint magnets, and the sharp, flat edges can really dig into your hand after a while. It weighs 204 grams, and you feel every one of them. Then you pick up the 15 Pro, and the difference is, well, it's immediate. The move to titanium and those slightly contoured edges make a huge difference. It's noticeably lighter at just 187 grams, that's almost a 10% weight reduction, and it's just so much more comfortable to hold for long periods. The brushed finish also means no more constant polishing. And this isn't a small thing for many people. The physical comfort of a device is a major factor in their daily experience. I've seen so many users say that the lighter weight and rounded edges alone were worth the upgrade from the 13 Pro. It fundamentally changes how you interact with the phone day to day. So if you're someone who finds modern phones a bit too heavy or dislikes those sharp edges, the design of the 15 Pro isn't just an improvement, it's a solution to a long-standing complaint. Let's be clear, both of these phones have absolutely gorgeous 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR displays with 120Hz ProMotion. In 2025, they both still feel incredibly smooth and look fantastic. The 15 Pro does get significantly brighter outdoors, up to 2000 nits compared to the 13 Pro's 1000, and has slimmer bezels, which gives it a more modern all-screen look. But the big difference is up top. The 13 Pro has the notch. It's the notch. We're used to it. It's purely a cutout for the Face ID tech, and it does its job without any fuss. The 15 Pro, however, has the dynamic island, and this is a feature that really divides people. Apple turned the hardware cutout into a software feature that morphs to show you live activities, alerts, and background tasks. You can see your timer, track a food delivery, or control your music without leaving the app you're in. Now, I found it genuinely useful, especially for things like timers or seeing who's calling without it taking over the whole screen. But its utility is entirely dependent on your workflow. If you're not a heavy multitasker or don't use many apps with live activities, it can feel like a larger, more distracting cutout than the notch, especially when you're watching a full screen video. So you have to ask yourself, are you the kind of person who always has a timer, music, and a phone call going at once? If not, the dynamic island might not be the killer feature for you that Apple's marketing suggests. Okay, the processor. The 13 Pro has the A15 Bionic with 6GB of RAM. The 15 Pro has the A17 Pro with 8GB of RAM. On paper, that's a big leap. But in the real world, for everyday tasks, scrolling social media, checking email, browsing the web, you are going to be hard-pressed to notice a difference. The A15 was so far ahead of its time that it still flies in 2025. Where you do see the difference is in two key areas. First, high-end gaming. The A17 Pro has an extra GPU core and hardware-accelerated ray tracing, making it a legitimate pocket console for AAA games. Second, and this is the big one for the future, Apple Intelligence. And this is probably the single biggest reason to consider the 15 Pro over the 13 Pro in 2025. The A17 Pro chip is your ticket to Apple Intelligence, Apple's new suite of AI features built right into iOS. The 13 Pro, powerful as it is left out. This redefines what future-proofing means. It's no longer just about having enough raw power for future apps. It's about having access to the next generation of the operating system's core functionality. If you want the on-device writing tools, image creation, and the smarter Siri that will only get better over time, the 15 Pro is your only choice between these two. It's the more future-proof device, not because of its speed today, but because of the software it will be able to run tomorrow. Now let's see how the camera performs. The 15 Pro has a massive 48 megapixel main sensor, while the 13 Pro has a 12 megapixel sensor. This allows the 15 Pro to shoot super detailed 48 megapixel Pro RAW files, or by default, it combines pixels to create a much sharper 24 megapixel photo. It also gives you a high quality 2x zoom option by cropping that main sensor, which is a fantastic focal length for portraits. In good light, the differences can be subtle, but in tricky situations, the 15 Pro's larger sensor and better processing pull ahead. You get better dynamic range, more detail in the shadows, and generally better low light performance. The colors are also a bit more natural and less overprocessed. But, and this is a huge one that you won't see in most reviews, the 15 Pro's camera can be frustrating. Because of its larger sensor, the main camera can't focus as close as the 13 Pro's. So if you're trying to take a picture of your food, a flower, or a document, it will often refuse to focus and switch to the ultra-wide camera for a macro shot, which is often lower quality and distorted. This is a regression in user experience for a very common type of photo. I've seen countless threads from users who are disappointed by this, some even saying they prefer their 13 Pro's camera for everyday close-ups, because it's just more reliable and less fussy. It's a professional tool that comes with a professional quirk. Now we need to talk about ports, buttons, and connectivity. This is a massive quality of life win for the 15 Pro USB-C. It's not just a new plug, it supports USB 3 speeds, meaning you can transfer huge video files off your phone up to 20 times faster than with Lightning. If you're a creator, this alone might be worth the price of admission. For everyone else, it just means you can finally use the same cable for your iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. Next up, the 15 Pro swaps the classic mute switch for a customizable action button. You can set it to open the camera, turn on the flashlight, start a voice memo, or even run complex shortcuts. It's incredibly powerful if you use it. Many people, myself included, sometimes just set it to be a mute button and forget about it. The 13 Pro's mute switch, on the other hand, is simple, reliable, and you can tell if your phone is on silent just by feeling it in your pocket. It's a classic case of powerful versatility for me. Finally, the 15 Pro also has slightly better connectivity with Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 6E, plus the emergency SOS via satellite feature, which is a nice safety net to have. Okay, let's talk downsides. For the 15 Pro, the biggest complaint by far for this standard 6.1-inch model is the battery life. It's fine. It'll get most people through a day, but heavy users consistently report needing a power bank or a top-up by the evening. Many reviews and user threads show it's a step down from the 13 Pro's legendary endurance. There have also been widespread reports of the phone running hot, which can affect long-term battery health. The 13 Pro, when it was new, had fantastic battery life. But in 2025, you're likely buying one used. That means you must check the battery health. Anything below 85%, and you should factor in the cost of a replacement. But there's a bigger, scarier risk. A small but documented number of 13 Pro units have suffered from a sudden hardware failure known as the white screen of death, which requires a costly display repair. It's not widespread, but it's a lottery you're entering when buying a phone this old. This really frames the decision in a different way. With the 13 Pro, you're getting a fantastic phone for the money, but you're taking a small risk on a potential sudden hardware failure. With the 15 Pro, you're paying more for a phone with a known compromise, the mediocre battery life, but with a much lower risk of it just dying on you. Alright, let's talk numbers, because in 2025, this is what it all comes down to. The iPhone 15 Pro, being newer, is still holding its value quite well. You can expect to find it on the used or refurbished market for somewhere between, say, $600 depending what storage you choose. The iPhone 13 Pro, on the other hand, is an absolute bargain. It's hit that sweet spot in the depreciation curve. You can find these in good condition for anywhere from $350 depending on storage and condition. So you're looking at a price difference of roughly $350 to $400. That's not a small amount of money. That's the price of a whole other phone or a new battery for the 13 Pro plus a lot left over. So after all that, where do we land? The iPhone 13 Pro in 2025 is a testament to how good Apple's Pro phones can be. It offers 90% of the modern flagship experience for like half the price. It's fast, has a beautiful screen, and a camera that is still top tier, and in some ways less fussy than its successor. The iPhone 15 Pro is the future. It's the smarter, lighter, more refined device. It's your entry point into Apple's new AI-powered world, and its quality of life features like USB-C and the lighter build are tangible, everyday improvements. Who should buy the iPhone 13 Pro? You should get the iPhone 13 Pro if you are a value-conscious buyer. You want a premium flagship experience without the flagship price. You don't need the absolute latest AI features. You're okay with the Lightning port for another few years. And you want a phone that just works brilliantly for all the core smartphone tasks. Just make sure you find one with good battery health and are aware of the small hardware risks. Who should buy the iPhone 15 Pro? You should get the iPhone 15 Pro if you are a forward-looking power user or creator. You're someone who will actually use the faster USB-C transfer speeds. You're excited about Apple Intelligence and want to be on the cutting edge of Apple software. You value the lighter design for all day use, and you want the most versatile camera tool Apple offered at the time. You're willing to pay a premium for those future-proof features and accept the compromise on battery life. As for my personal choice, even though the day-to-day experience is so incredibly similar, for me in 2025, it would have to be the iPhone 15 Pro. And it comes down to two things. The high-speed USB-C port is a genuine game changer for my video workflow, and the access to Apple Intelligence just feels like the more sensible long-term investment. But I want to be crystal clear, you cannot go wrong here. Both of these phones are fantastic options. But that's just my take. I would love to hear from you. Which one would you choose in 2025? Are you still rocking a 13 Pro? Let me know your experience down in the comments below. Let's talk about it. If you found this video helpful, a like and subscribe would be amazing. It really helps the channel out. And maybe check out my long-term review of the iPhone 15 Pro Max or my video on whether Apple Intelligence is actually worth it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.